Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the new and experienced investor podcast. Today, we're talking about how specific experiences can help you as an agent. It's going to be a really good show. Definitely one you don't want to miss. I'm one of your hosts, Alex Barnett. I'm the new guy.
And I'm Joe Holmes. That makes me the experienced guy.
That's right. And today, we did it again. We have another amazing guest. He's going to be talking about what it's like being an agent in today's market. Before we bring them on, let's talk about our meetup we have.
June 30th, we have a special guest speaker. Special. That's going to talk us through wholesaling A to Z, Alex Barnett.
That's right. I'm going to be getting up there on the mic talking about wholesaling, how to get your deals to the finish line. So if you've been on the sidelines waiting, this is the gateway to all real estate investing, wholesaling.
And real quick, I met with a 19-year-old a couple of weeks ago, got him started on wholesaling, came in today, told us that he made 100 calls, just texted Alex that he's got somebody on the line possibly ready to do a deal.
Yeah.
That's what you need to do. You need to make those calls.
Yeah. Stop making excuses.
Take action.
There it is. I always like to remind you guys this is a live show, so go ahead, share it far and wide with any new or experienced investor in your life. And because it's live, we have a chat, so you can jump in the chat, ask as many questions as you want. We're going to pick some towards the end of the show. It's my favorite part of the show. So let's go ahead, bring him in. Here's our guest today, Dustin Kelter. Dustin, what's up, man? How you doing?
Alex, how you doing? Joe?
Good.
Great. Go ahead, pull the mic just a little bit closer to you.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, give it a little tug.
You won't break it.
Yeah, you can pull it.
How's that?
That's good.
How's that?
Right on.
Great.
So go ahead. Why don't you introduce yourself to everybody in the audience? How'd you get into real estate? What were you doing before? And how's it going right now?
Well, thanks once again, Alex Barnett and Joe Holmes for bringing me on the podcast show. Big fan, Alex. Interested in that wholesaling on June 30th.
Nice.
But yeah, just same thing. Just kind of started, raised up in construction, and the residential was like, everyone's dream, right? And here's the commercial. You gotta get to work, and just kind of learning different things in the trades, as my parents were custom home builders. And then I just kind of really worked with my dad, like one-on-one for a while on the commercial side, and kind of saw how that is, and was just fascinated, and just before the show asking Joe, that commercial investing is just off the charts, like, and how residential is being an agent, and everyone's after it. So it's a great business to be in. I love being an agent. I've been doing it for a year, but I've had my license for 2, and just learning every niche of the house, from the day I was born, basically, just even learning all the laws and, the land and stuff. So it's a pleasure to be on the show, guys. Thank you for inviting me.
Everything you've been doing with your parents, has that been here in California?
Yes. So I grew up in Huntington Beach, just kind of down by the beach downtown. And as you know, the area is predominantly, like, in the beginning was like for like oil wells and oil fields and stuff. So I just kind of, as a kid, just saw my dad, like, with his backhoe, like, cleaning up stuff. And just as soon as I was 16, I was on it, just checking things out. And just kind of realized, like, going to the high school there, and the oil boom's kind of over now. Everything's modernizing. So, architecture and land and real estate, what a great place to be. So, by the beach, construction by the beach, and the houses just, turned out great, whether they were custom builds with a pool, jacuzzi, or a pool house. In the beginning, when I was a kid, though, we had some problems because of the zoning and private streets and stuff, So things modernized, now you get city sewers and stuff. But I mean, we used to even have an airport over there, a tiny little airport. But yeah, I mean, it was a great childhood growing up. But it's just the market is so lucrative now. That's why I was kind of talking to you about the commercial side of things. Just the buying and selling and the commerce. It's just wow, it's so fascinating. And it's such a good way to stabilize your income. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So growing up in the business, I mean, was this your dream as a child, or was it like, Dad, I don't want to go with you to work? Like, I could imagine if that's your family business, to you, it's just completely normal. Like, was that what you wanted to do, or growing up in Huntington, you wanted to be a pro surfer?
I mean, that's every kid's dream. I mean, especially when your parents are building houses by the beach or surfing. But yeah, I mean, it was just like you're saying, Joe, kind of just getting with my dad to work, and hey, now I'm with Mom, and she said go surfing, and
Wow, Mom let you off the hook.
yeah, it was awesome.
You were supposed to be at work, and Mom's like, no, let him go surf. It's fine.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Classic. Gotcha. Okay, but I guess you picked up some stuff. Now, you said you've had your license for 2 years. What? That seems like you're a kid learning the custom home stuff. Fast forward, you've had it for 2 years. What's going on in the in-between part?
Like every young adolescent, I had my ups and downs and traveled the world. I did sign up with the Navy for a bit.
Okay.
That was like about 10 years ago.
Nice.
And,
Thanks.
yeah, just went to school a lot, did some like self-improvement, stuff like that. Things you experience probably too in life, Joe, or your family members and stuff. Nothing as great as your experiences, Alex, but I mean, I'm definitely like into wholesaling. I'm, 100% like at the table for real estate like every day. Just everything I learn is just like from the niche and cranny to all the way up to the home, and it's just amazing to see time evolve. But yeah, you got to experience life,
Okay. Gotcha. And so the time in the Navy, what have you brought from that into real estate?
Wow. U.S. We got a lot of ships. We got a lot of stuff going on. So, being over at other sides of the America, just seeing the East Coast prices, and then, the evolution of New York. I mean, it's just unreal. But I just am a California boy from heart and from growing up, and just love it down here. And it's interesting to see the homes, modernize and see what's changed about some of my childhood experiences and the homes I've been in. But nothing changes better than America, and that's kind of where we stand, USA and around the world. But it just opened up my eyes a little bit, and then learned to adapt a little bit, and I just saw the prices were just so completely opposite, to California.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So now you come back from the Navy, you're ready to get back into real estate. Like, did you go to your parents first and say like, hey, I want to, are they still active and to where you could jump into that business, or?
That was probably something I wanted to do. Unfortunately I never did it because a man's got to find his own way.
Okay.
And my dad has some nice stuff going on, and I just took a look at one of his places today and what they did to re-improvise the custom home. I think one of the new guys was a steel owner, so he just showed me all the gates and stuff that I used to work on, and he put a big awning over the pool deck and attached to the pool house, and just really cool things. Like, as you can tell, the architecture is changing in real estate, especially over here in California.
What are you noticing as far as architecture?
Just a lot of like metal looking steel, like upright. Of course, the city, they just kind of approve just high rises and stuff now, or that's what they want. They want it's a supply and demand. So those things usually pass pretty quick, and versus like a custom home, you got to spend like X amount of money, quarter of what it's probably gonna cost you just to get them to look at it, and then you got to go pay for an architectural review and all the architect and all that, So it's just they look great. I love the lightings, the electrical work and stuff, and they're just a lot different from probably when you guys were growing up, especially probably in the earlier days, just a home's a home, right?
I was wondering which decade he was going to pick.
I didn't want to say.
Is he calling me old?
I think he skated around it, but that's fair game.
Okay.
Well, you can tell the cars have changed too.
Yeah. Everything was
We
like
didn't have cars back then.
we didn't have cars.
Horse and buggy.
And
Horse and
every
buggy,
house
yes.
was like a 2-1 or a 3-1, 900 square feet for some reason back in the day.
And a horse and buggy parked
And the
out
horse and
front.
buggy.
And one bathroom.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The 2-bathroom was like a completely modern invention.
My wife grew up in a 1-bathroom, 3-bedroom house in Garden Grove. Mm-hmm. And she's got 3 today, but it's like, how did you do that? It's like, wow.
Yeah.
3 of you using 1 bathroom.
Same with my dad. I think it was like
Really?
5
Oh my
in 1
gosh.
bathroom.
Wow.
I don't know how he did it.
Yeah. Crazy.
Yeah. He's always like looking, he's like, I don't even know how he did it. And he lived through it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, that's something Burton brings up every time too, is a list to look
Yes,
for.
yes.
1 bathroom.
Yes.
Target the 1 bathroom folks, because chances are they're going to be wanting to upgrade, sell,
Right.
get a house
Yeah.
with 2 bathrooms.
Just add that extra bathroom there. Yeah, absolutely.
Yep. Add it on.
Now I can only live in a 4-bathroom minimum, just me and her, just in case. I mean, just in case. It's like one's
You're
for
in
the
a
cat.
1-bathroom, aren't you?
No.
Oh, you guys have 2?
Of course.
Oh, really? It's like 2 master suites type thing?
1 guest,
We're in a
One.
3-bedroom.
1 guest,
Okay.
1 primary,
Oh, okay.
1 office.
Got it.
1 office.
Got it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I like it when they're like 2 primaries.
I know.
Yeah.
That's pretty nice. Yeah.
That is pretty nice.
I mean, you have roommates. That's really
Yeah.
nice.
It is.
Yeah. But it's just usually 2 bedrooms,
Yeah.
but they're both primaries.
I know. That's cool.
You have 3 bedrooms, and it has to be just like you just said. It has to have a door for the other person. Yeah.
Yeah.
Got it.
Custom home building. What are the big ticket items that people always go for?
Well, I just want to chime in one second. 2 bathroom minimum required, right?
Yeah.
That's got to be hard for your wife growing up, but it's great that she came out like three spots, but
Yeah.
She made it.
yeah,
She made it. To the
She
other
married
end.
into it, actually.
Yes, she did.
Mr. Joe Holmes himself.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, back to the question. Custom home building is very I want to say like difficult, because unless you're the actual custom builder, it varies, because like I said, I just revisited my dad's place today, and it's down by the beach in Huntington, and this guy owns his big steel company, and so he just decked it out with steel. But back in the when my dad was making it, it was like about tile, and marble, and we'll add an extra couple of bathrooms and bedrooms because we can, or we'll add a whole nother pool house, another garage, So it's just tricky, and you'll see that in the modern houses and how big they look, and what they're just adding as many bathrooms as they can,
Yeah.
as many bedrooms as they can. So the city, they'll let you build three levels usually. They're right now, like I said, they're just doing big, massive OKs. I don't really go down to the city a lot, but it's just very difficult trying to approve things. And next to that, I think on the same note, so when my dad started, he started with his brothers. They were engineers from Long Beach, and they kind of went for those like apartment high rises and stuff. So they're zoned currently for that. That should be coming soon, hopefully. But the custom home building is just it's a tough business, and the reason why I'm saying is my mom was also in it. She's a contractor, and I remember being a kid and I was like, I want a lot of windows, right? I want a lot of windows, Liz. Who doesn't want decks and windows, right? Mm-hmm. So it's like, okay, she put 5 or 6 of them, and it's like, whoa. Now it's like, okay, I should have thought of like sliding glass doors or something. Do you need this many decks? Because you're creating problems. Later on. I mean, now you have those new laws and stuff. For decks, and then you got to maintain those decks, and it's, especially if you're renting it out, it could be a risk and things like that. So, the custom home building, it went from like, cushy kid luxury to, okay, this is a job and I need to like wake up and use my mind a little bit better, take a few more classes because, it's not about putting a jacuzzi in anymore. It's not about a barbecue, it's you're looking at the future now. Like, like I said, it woke me up when I went to the East Coast because I was just like, whoa, some prices in Virginia are really low, and then there's New York. Yeah, I can barely get in there, So it's just custom home building it's awesome, but for the most part, it's modern architecture now. It's just what the architect, the designer wants, and my mom still does design for people and stuff.
Oh, nice.
Mostly inside, but
right.
interior. But it's expensive too, doing all that. I mean, we had tile people that are just, caking on rock on the pool and, just doing turtles, for the bottom and just water fountains. And then, you got to upkeep those things. And it's, as the water fountains and stuff, it's not always, up to what you want it to be. But growing up surfing, back to your point, we put in a couple showers in and, just like you guys were saying, you want to put as many bathrooms, as many bedrooms as you can. You want to maximize it because you're spending this money, And so I think the city let us go like 3 levels. It was always a fight with the city, Okay, we'll give them this much on the 3rd level, and it's not a bedroom, And then
it's a loft.
Yeah, so we just put in doors later. I mean, they're
right.
just always they don't want it high,
I like that.
but then they approve all these mega.
Right.
Buildings,
Yeah.
Well, I'm noticing like in Seal Beach, because we lived in Seal for a while, they just got rid of where the house was set back and you had a yard. They'd rip that out and build lot line to lot line. Boom, just a box.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like the yard is gone. People don't have yards anymore. It's just you open your front door and you're on the street, basically. So that's kind of interesting.
There was one house in Seal Beach that some guy built, custom home, and because he couldn't go more than 3 levels, he had this genius idea to build a basement next to the beach, so it kept flooding because he was hitting the water table.
Oh my God.
Yeah. It's like, I don't get it. Like, keep throwing money at it,
Yeah.
But
Sump pump.
yeah, exactly.
I think he did abandon it eventually, but
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it makes sense. But I guess the city has all those rules for a certain amount of time, and then the new guard comes in and they approve whatever they call it. Like what was the mall that they built?
Bellaterra or
No, the other one, the new one on PCH.
Pacific Ranch.
Yeah. So stuff like that, but because they're doing that whole
Huntington
revamp.
Beach is a pretty tough city council.
Yeah.
Them and Newport as well. They're pretty tough. They're very restrictive on lots of things over there.
Okay.
Yeah.
But like Alex was saying, when the commercial comes in, it, because we wouldn't do a basement or anything. The hardest thing we would get is like an elevator, and those were usually at both of my parents' custom homes. And as you could tell, like the elevator was just like the cheapest one you can get because it's so small, it's so expensive, and it's so hard to approve it. And then you got these big malls that they'll get escalators and elevators, whatever galore, because they got to keep up to the ADA standards and all that stuff. So when something big like that gets approved, and you probably remember Bellaterra, and it was just like boom, and now they're already thinking about redoing that.
Yeah.
Area, so
Yeah. No, totally.
it's just
Yeah.
I need an elevator.
You're just gonna move to the bottom floor. You're fine.
how about an escalator?
And then I'll never. Oh, one of those chairs.
Oh God.
Yeah, sit down in a chair and go up yeah, I like those. Yeah.
The problem is no one has straight stairs. It's like, so.
Yeah. But that'll be fun because I'm going around.
You're like,
Yeah.
damn it, I forgot something downstairs.
Yeah. And have to go back down.
So how does that experience growing up around the building and everything allow you to provide, I guess, additional information, or how are you using that experience as an agent with the clients that you have?
Mostly, I get a lot of people trying to look for a place to rent. But when there is a buyer, or even if it's a widow or something, it's like, okay, let's check this house out. Like what, little by little with my construction skills, I've just kind of told them what they need to do, or even help them do that. And if I need some opinions, I'll ask my mom for like design, and if there's like major questions, or like they're gonna sell. I mean, I try to get like down to the bottom of it, but you can tell kind of just what a house is worth by the comps, and then everyone kind of really. I grew up a lot on Zillow, but I didn't like it. I don't like it much anymore. But it's just quick ways of getting estimates, right? But for the most part, if you get a 2-story, it's great. You're going to make some money. You got 1 story, it's easy to work on, no problem. Fortunately, we haven't sold much besides my dad did sell his beach home downtown. That was 3 stories, but he bought something better,
Oh, okay. I was gonna
he
say
bought a ranch.
Oh, okay, nice. Where's the ranch?
It's in like Santa Ynez, but
oh, cool.
It's a 1 story. I mean, so as as Joe was saying, it's harder to get up and down the stairs, when you're a senior and stuff. I mean, it's not harder, but it's not desirable, right?
Okay.
So my mom did the same thing. She got a 1 story. So it's just it's one of those things that like I was telling you earlier, I wanted 5 or 6 balconies with French doors, and it's like, well, this is awesome, but is this going to be awesome in 20, 30 years? You
Right.
could have just done a sliding door. You could have just done a big open-end window or something, so
Something to think about.
yeah, I mean, porches and stuff are cool, and like you're saying, the yard is just obsolete anymore. But we always, when you're a custom designer, you always want to create something like that. Especially, like my dad was always into that with the pool and the yards. Maybe that's just how he grew up or something, and now he's in ranching. So it's just one of those things. If you guys, know being married and stuff, have. Later on, you got the dog, you got the kids. You need the yard, you need like the porch, stuff like that. So those are key things to play into your clients, and that's one thing. I do look out for that, as much as I get that question. Hey, I need something to rent, real quick, and it's just like, okay, what do you got? So let me help you out real quick,
Okay, nice. So you're doing mostly leases.
Yeah, mostly just leases in my first year, but it's been fun. Like growing up, doing all that, and seeing the sales and stuff, and then they go up and they go down, and it's just like, all right, everyone, hold on. Everyone's looking at the market and the mortgage rates and stuff, and so it's just one of those things that like you're saying, back to your Seal Beach one, the architecture's just changed. It's just like, here's a box,
Yeah.
and it's like, well, where's the modern family, But
Yeah.
the modern family is a little bit smaller now, you know what I mean? So
Yeah. Apparently, people aren't having babies anymore. That's freaking everyone out. Have you ever seen the movie Blank Check?
I think I've seen it one time or heard about it. Yeah,
Remember that? Where like this kid finds a blank check on the ground. And I forget what he does, but he like basically like writes himself like, it's like in the 90s. So it's like $1 million was like a lot of money. So he gets all this money and he like makes this like house that a kid would like, or in his bedroom, there's a slide that like goes down to a pool. And then there's like all this, there's like a video game room and it's like VR and all that stuff. So that's what I picture you as a child being like, this is what my custom home is going to be like. Then you get older and you kind of realize what is important. Is that accurate?
Oh, it's totally accurate. I mean, I was just gonna go back to Joe, and that's the life, though, man. Through all the girls in one bathroom, they probably had the best like time of their life, man. In grade school and high school and stuff.
There weren't any fights.
Definitely not high school.
Liz, they probably had the looks, though. Come on. They had fun with their hair and stuff, So
Right. Okay, nice. So tell me about this, like the leasing thing. The you starting off as a leasing agent. Is that something that your brokerage decided to have you start on, or that's the path you went down?
Well, like every brokerage, they need sales. The broker needs sales, right? So just talking to you guys about and we'll get into the commercial a little bit more. But yeah, that's the way I was kind of taught. And like I said, on real estate, my first idea was like Zillow, and it's just like a total market for just blah, just everything. So it's just learning that, and then, hey man, maybe I could make a hustle out of this, or maybe I can make a living out of this, and and just timing back to Joe, now instead of one bathroom growing up, now she's got, whatever X amount of 3 houses, so it's just what you're kind of taught, what you learn along the way, and I like my company. We've been up and down, and sales, are the goal of every broker. But I'm so good with leasing, and I get a lot of calls and stuff. A lot of people are into Airbnbs, and they're into this, and my company is too. And that's cool. And I kind of like the property management style, because just growing up in construction, just staying busy and fixing things. It's just a good feeling.
Yeah,
kind of pays off itself.
Gotcha. Okay. So you mentioned working with Zillow, or what is that like as an agent? Like what do you get? They get you leads, or what? How do you work with Zillow?
So when I was originally looking at Zillow, I was actually going to go and work for them, but as you know, it's pretty much just a computer now. So it's just it's a way to get leads. It's an easy way to market. It's not as formal for the laws of being a realtor, and so you can kind of just market and get leads and help people find places. Because most of the time when I'm talking to people, if I'm not going out knocking on doors, putting my flyer out, I'm pretty much just asking people where they live, what they need, and it's the same old question like that I would have got off, Zillow or something. So, knowing that, it's just like an app tool, for me.
Right.
It's not the highlight of my life, but going back to the commercial and the property management, I think that's the most honest, lucrative way to make a living, and we kind of agreed on that. What's your experience, Joe?
I don't do commercial.
No, not much?
Yeah, that's totally different animal for me. I've always done residential. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, residential is so plain and cut and dry, and so honest and good, right? And commercial's so risky, and it's so hard. But that's pretty much how the company started, My broker.
Nice.
Yeah, he was doing a commercial sale. I can't speak too much of it because you can hear it on his podcast, but that's how they kind of started. Then Brian came in from Sotheby's and Red, so it's a good outfit. They got 100 agents, but as far as me growing up, just watching my dad with his custom home building and the frustration there, that was nothing compared to his commercial life, and I was just like, wow, like I don't know how he does it, and now I kind of understand why he's on a ranch in the middle of the
relaxing.
Yeah, really. So he built commercial buildings, or he purchased and sold?
He helped build and then purchased, kind of sold, but unlike my boss, he kind of kept it. And, so he kept it going, and it's just businesses, it's like a restaurant. You guys living in Seal Beach, you probably know how that is.
Right.
It's a hard business. So luckily he's been through the gambit, but he seems to come up on top. If he's messing with the agriculture life and
yeah.
But going back to his custom home, it was just beautiful looking at it. I'm just like amazed the privacy now there, and just how he upkept the whole place. And he's just asking me, hey man, today, can you get me this lot? I'm like, I can't, I don't know. What about this one? Well, this guy's in Florida, and it's just like people, they have these car collections, they have these things they want done, and they want to, emphasize it, how like they're, like you're saying, back when I was growing up, just drawing out my custom home, as a kid.
Yep.
And it's just like, they want to make it a reality. And that's what's cool, Joe. It's just, but I think a safe way, if you guys can get into it, I'm still always looking too, is commercial investing and stuff like, wholesaling's great too. I love, I've been to some cool wholesaling events, and
you can wholesale commercial too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, look into that. Are you looking at like apartment buildings, or what are you considering commercial, like industrial, flex space?
Apartments probably is
Okay.
is a safe bet. Like Joe was saying earlier, he's just you start with one home, you get 2 or 3, and that's one easy way for the honest American to try to get into real estate and investing and stuff. But rent them out. So apartments are always a lucrative way to invest.
Right.
I mean that's the only way I've made it so far. But
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
Right. Are you a part of some apartment deals?
Just from growing up with my dad and stuff, and
gotcha.
just doing some of that, he
okay.
has a few units. There's a lot of other developers out there. I can't really, just like realtors, I can't really speak about it. So it's just, things are changing so quick,
Right.
But like you're saying, this mall popped up, that mall's getting a remodel, and now they're putting more homes in. And
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
wow.
Can't stop the progress. That's it. Awesome. Well, this is the part of the show where I pulled up a couple of videos, curated a few videos, so I'd love to get your take on it. Producer, what do we have?
Things people should know before building their custom home. Here we go.
In this video, we're going to cover items that most people wish they knew before building their own custom home. Most custom builds take longer than originally planned. This can be blamed on both the builder and the homeowner. Both parties can cause the project to slip. It's just part of a very complex process with a lot of moving parts. The schedule isn't perfect, but more of an art form, so don't get anxious when you see the schedule slip. It's just part of the process, and if you keep this in mind, you'll enjoy the project more. It's really hard to see into the future, but when designing your house, try to be thinking what the future could look like. For example, if you only plan on having 2 kids and design the house with only 3 bedrooms, what are you going to do if a 3rd child comes along? Or you have an aging parent needing to stay with you for a while. Is there room for them on the 1st floor? These are some of the things you need to keep in mind when designing your home and planning for the future. In this
Thoughts?
Well, why don't you guys go first? Because it sounds just like how I grew up.
Well, it's really to get your reaction.
Yeah, I mean, it's he's totally on it, and just as we were all talking about, like the family's changed and stuff. But yeah, I mean that's usually how it goes on a construction site. It never goes as planned. You gotta coach all the trades to get them going, and schedule it right. That's why they say it takes so long.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that would be what a builder would say. He's like, hey, the timeline's gonna go over. It's just part of the process.
Yeah.
So if you could get over it, you'd really enjoy the project.
But that's a good idea to, set expectations up front and let them know that, this is what we're going to do, but this is not reality. It may take a little bit longer.
Well,
this done.
here's I would push back on that and say, well, why don't you just why don't you, under promise over deliver?
Because what if Susie at the permit office just doesn't like you?
Oh, okay, I get all that, but like, what if you're like, okay, it's going to take 18 months, and then you get it done in a year?
Then you get paid extra.
Yeah, exactly. See?
Gives you one more year
Come
to
in
sell.
under budget, on time.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm following a guy on YouTube. He did a full house in 60 days.
Wow.
Yeah.
No.
Well, I don't think you can even
A-frame.
get a permit in 60 days.
Yeah, A-frame. Yeah.
Wow.
I was like, yeah, but I don't know. It probably wasn't like a giant, super sick house. But anywho, all right, what do we got next?
Next, commercial versus residential.
Should I go with commercial or should I go with residential? If I'm just starting out, should I get involved in multifamily real estate or single family real estate? My answer to you is if you are brand new, you don't have resources, you don't have credit, you don't have credentials, you're just starting out, you need today money. You need to get a wholesale deal under contract, wholesale that deal and have a check within 30 days, single family all day long. You have 1,000 less things to learn. They're way easier to comp, way easier to underwrite. There's way more people to help you, way more resources, way more agents agents understand residential over commercial. Commercial agents are very polite, but they're also about that money. You are not going to get the time and attention of a commercial broker who's doing big deals. So build your momentum, build your experience, build your, I call it your poop sheet, all the crap that you've been through, stack up your credentials. And then when you're ready for multifamily, you can convert or start dabbling in it a little bit. Should I go with?
What say you?
Very honest. I mean, just like we were saying, it would be great to get into commercial, and it's so lucrative, but it just goes back to leasing and big deals and commercials. But if you get a custom home building, or even if you go into multi-homes, I mean, you're a lot safer off, obviously in a residential, and as an agent, you can make your own choices. As a builder, you can build it how you want,
Amen to that. Nice. What else we got, producer?
We got one more.
We do?
We
Oh,
do.
you said 2.
No, there's 3. There's always 3.
There's 3, Joe. How to generate leads as a real estate agent. Here we go.
Open houses are a great way to get leads as real estate agents. And on my second open house, I actually got a lead that came in there, walked the property, and he said, I want to make an offer. And boy, I was so nervous. I did not know what to do. So I called up a friend of mine, another agent that knew the business, and kind of said, what do I do? Since this was like literally my second week in the business. And he kind of explained everything to me. But at the end of the day, I just want to show you guys that open houses are a great way to get leads, and that you should start doing them.
Very honest, guys. Very honest. Real buyers. As you know, I told you what I did already to get some leads, and I go door knocking, and yeah. I mean, the Zillow is just a kind of a computer, but it generates what I need to sort out and stuff. But just if you do an open house, I mean, that's the best way to get real leads. Real buyers.
So what do you think the goal and the purpose of doing an open house is for an agent?
Well, you're going to market the house, and you're also, as an agent, that's the goal, sales, right? At the end of the day, right? Sign this, sign that. So it's just changed a lot, with technology and the laws and stuff. But to be all honest, I mean, the goal of an open house is just to sell it, or whatever you're gonna do with it, rent it out or lease it. So you got to show it. It's the law, and it's just a perfect way to get like the perfect family in, or sell the house. Just easy way to do it.
Got you. Yeah, I've gone to a couple open houses with her, and it's not a fun time.
Take your shoes off.
It's boring.
It's pretty boring.
It's a little boring.
Most of the people that come in had agents already, so I don't know. Like,
I'm pretty introverted too, so it's like a high anxiety situation for me.
Yeah. You're gonna like be buzzing around the person while they're like looking at it, and they're like opening up the thing. You're like, yeah, so it's like fully custom vanity right here. Like everything they look at, you're like, yeah, so the backyard is.
Is she doing the open house or you?
I wish you would do it.
It sounds like more like you're doing it.
No, I know like what needs to be done, but.
My first open house, I got an angry neighbor who like slammed every cabinet door in a remodeled house. One of our flips was just like, look at this shoddy work, was just slamming all the doors and stuff.
Nice.
And then she left me a nice surprise in one of the restrooms. So,
Ooh.
yeah.
Didn't flush. We were like, these people are animals.
Yeah, it was awful.
So
That must have been out in Hammett.
it was.
It was.
Okay.
But
Okay.
I wouldn't.
That makes more
I wouldn't
sense.
put it past anybody though.
I don't do open houses in Hammett anymore.
Yeah.
I don't
We've gone
blame
to
you.
a couple scary mobile home
I
ones.
never liked open houses either.
Yeah.
You always had good tips though. Like if someone says
it's a good way to get leads.
yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, if you want good leads, that's where they're at. I mean, they're coming to a house. Why are they coming? They're either neighbors
Right.
or they're actually looking for something. And so you have to kind of pick and choose, kick the neighbors out,
Right.
and focus on the people that are actually looking for a house. There's your lead right there.
Then you like turn it on. You're like, hey, how's it going? They're like, I'm the neighbor. You're like, all right, never mind. You go back and sit down. Yeah, go ahead and look at it.
Yeah, go ahead.
Those cookies aren't for you.
Yeah, don't take any of that stuff. It's
Yeah.
not for you. But you're like, oh, wow. This guy's nice. Dustin, thanks so much for coming, man. This has been a great time. How can people reach out to you if...
We do have one question.
Oh, okay.
Don't
Yeah, I
wanna-
forgot.
Yeah, hold on.
Let's
Let me
get
pull
it.
up here. So Liz is in the chat. She
Okay.
says, with years in residential property management and a decade in commercial, what major trends have you noticed shaping the industry today?
Just kind of what we talked about.
yeah, reiterate it, dude.
yeah,
Let's
just
take
the
it home.
Yeah, it's just modernized. You can even tell just driving by commercial and the mega malls and stuff, and I don't know. It's not really so much as a thing of like an indoor mall anymore. It's just like now everything, like we were talking about Pacific City, it's all outdoor, and it's just my dad was starting to get into that, and it's just these markets are outside that people they want to drink outside, they whatever do their yoga, and just it's just fascinating to see things change. That's just me looking at it commercially,
Right.
The thing of the indoor mall is kind of just, not really so desirable anymore. I mean, unless it's just really nice,
Yeah.
But yeah, it's the same thing with custom home buildings. I mean, who doesn't want the most new modern house on the block, right? With all the windows and all the doors and, like I was telling you earlier, I wanted a lot of porches. I want, balconies and stuff. So, that's just the biggest thing I see. But, as you guys know, being investors and stuff, you got to kind of shoot for what's the best for you and your company or your wife or whatever, your family. So, sometimes that might be like apartments or condos or something,
Sure. Yeah, I am noticing there's like Mission Viejo Mall is going to have the outdoor section.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if they're converting the whole mall or just a portion of it. But yeah, they're
He's
bringing
right. People
in-
want to drink outside.
Yeah.
They got
That's-
used to it during COVID.
Well, this is California. Why wouldn't they?
Yeah. Let them
know?
drink outside.
Yeah. And we went a whole year having our meetup and never got rained on once.
That's right.
Yeah.
California.
Try doing that in
That's
Des
why
Moines.
our
Yeah.
meetup is so popular, is because it's outside.
outside. Yeah.
Yeah.
Indoor, outdoor living.
Yeah.
It did get a little cold.
It got a little cold,
Yeah.
but we got heaters for
And
that.
I call it California cold because
Yeah. Oh,
if you've
I
been
know.
back east, that's cold.
That's another cold.
That's
Hurts your
another-
lungs to breathe.
Yeah.
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 We get like 65 and we're all like,
yeah. It's
in
like,
our-
wow,
Four
it's crazy.
seasons, humidity.
Yeah.
Wow.
not about it, dude.
Thank you, Liz, for that question.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thank
that was
you,
a good
Liz.
question.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
So if people want help with a lease or a buy or a sell, how can they reach out to you?
You can just reach out to me on, either Instagram. My name's Dustin Kelter.
Okay.
Working for Keller Williams. We're now in Santa Ana, but I'll tag you in the Instagram and
Okay, nice.
Or they can reach out to my cell.
Yeah.
So I'll give you guys my card before we go.
Okay.
Cool.
Thank you.
Yeah, it was a pleasure being on the show. Thanks so much.
Yeah.
Thank
And
you.
what a fascinating story, with your wife and stuff. Just the era would have been so cool,
Yep.
So
Bel
I mean,
Airs.
we got a taste
Doo-wop.
of that.
Doo-wop was the newest thing. Doo-wop had just come out.
Crossing the Oregon Trail. Amazing. I'm just kidding.
I'm just joking. I think, yeah, all right.
Joe, we
Anyway.
can't keep up with nowadays. We have to go outside to go shopping.
I see that.
Very cool.
Yeah.
All right, you guys. We'll be back in 2 weeks because producer has a birthday. So
What?
Happy
I'm
birthday.
taking her.
Happy birthday.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Happy
cool.
birthday.
I hit the wrong button.
But
I meant to do this one.
Oh, okay. That one was kind of cool too. But yeah, reach out to Dustin if you're looking for a rental or anything like that, and we'll see you very soon.
Thanks, Alex.
See you
Yeah,
later.
sure. Thank
Bye.
you.
Thanks, producer.
If you want some more advice on real estate investing, reach out to us one-on-one.